Welcome to the channel. This is the Spiritual Samurai Scribe. I'm just going for a little walk here. Hopefully it's not too windy, Hopefully the sound quality is pretty good. I'll try to walk in a direction where the wind is not hitting the microphone. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to be talking about reasons why I don't like being around a lot of people. Yes, now there is a lot of reasons besides me being an introvert. Despite the fact that I'm an introvert, some of us, we still like to socialize with people. It's just that we like to do that with like-minded individuals. People that are not programmed by the system. People that don't believe in the lies of the divided states, the media of the divided states, and all of that. Because as you can see, what I'm noticing, and it's always been like this. I mean, this isn't a new concept, but I'm noticing that a lot of people really don't think for themselves. Like, a lot of people just believe whatever they're told. It takes me back to middle school, high school days when people just, gossip about somebody that they're jealous of. And then it can get so bad that that gossip, those lies and slander, it can actually push a person to unalive an innocent person, all because somebody started a lie, somebody started spreading it. And that has happened to some of us. They've attempted to unalive somebody just because they were jealous of them. Somebody said something and then they made up something about them that causes a certain person or people to try to set them up so they can unalive them. Yeah. And you know what? That's a pretty good damn reason as to why we don't like being around a lot of people, because people lie. If you're a person that has a lot of, especially for the chosen ones, you tend to be very intelligent, very attractive inside and out, talented, creative, intellectual, spiritual, just gifted all around. And when you have these things, it's not a matter of arrogance, I can't be around these people because, I'm too good. It's not like that. It's like you have to protect yourself. You have to understand the value that you have. And also you have to understand how rare you are. And when people find out that you have all of this going on for yourself, they're not going to be happy for you, especially if you grew up with them, especially the people closest to you. And just in general, wherever you go, because there's people that don't have what you have. There's people that don't feel attractive, or they may not look their best because maybe they're not putting in the same work that you put in to take care of yourself. They're not eating the right foods. They're not working out. And somehow, in their minds, that gives them the green light to harass you, to mess with you, to gang stalk you, all that stuff, all that crazy stuff. They even think that they're justified in trying to set you up to be unalive just because they feel like you have it all going on, not realizing all the work and all the painful experiences that you had to go through that allowed you to awaken these gifts that you have inside of you. The fact that you chose light instead of darkness. You chose to confront and face your pain instead of using that as an excuse or justification to abuse other people. It's unfortunate that it's just we live amongst a lot of shitty people, man. And we can't control what other people do, but the only best way to deal with it is by not dealing with them at all. And I'm noticing that. I don't know why, but I got the feeling, right? I think this is just something that happens in the divided states. The divided states has created so much conflict, so much hatred, and so much literally man-made division, because some of this stuff would not exist if we actually knew each other. If you actually sat down and had a conversation with someone that they're telling you to hate, you will realize how much you actually have a lot in common with this person. But we will never get to that point because everyone wants to believe in propaganda, lies. People will follow the stupidest shit, but they will never follow God. They'll follow the dumb, people will follow the stupidest shit before they follow God. Before they follow God and his ways. Oh no, that's too hard, right? They say that following God's ways is too hard, but they have no problem following a bunch of devils that want to jump someone or try to unalive a person just because of what somebody said that it wasn't even true to begin with, or just because that person triggers insecurities inside you and that causes you to want to attack them for no reason. You see, you have to understand your position in life, and you have to understand that all the work that you've done, right, all the traumas that you healed and everything, all of the your career prospects, business, whatever you have going on, these blessings that are about to come. You know, one of the saddest things is realizing that most people close to you, they are not going to be happy for you. They're not going to, if anything, they probably hate the fact that you have that going on, because it emphasizes to them, it makes them feel like they're losing or something in some way. It's really weird. But one thing I noticed too is that I've gotten to the point where I would rather just stay to myself. Like, I don't want to be bothered with bullshit, you know, and it's unfortunate. You're going to get a lot of bullshit from people. Now, if you're like myself, right? Now, another aspect as to why I don't like being around a lot of people is because people are weird. You don't know what they're thinking about. And because of all this division, hatred, you know, also lack of education, lack of understanding different cultures, different people. I know for me, like, I would be considered racially ambiguous because people they can't really guess correctly what my ethnicity is for the most part. So, because of that, sometimes people will hate you for that because they can't put you in a box. You know, they want to hate you. They want to have a reason to hate you, but sometimes being racially ambiguous, it can make people angry at you for some reason. I don't know why. Because I'm not a hateful person. I'm not just hating somebody because of how they look. So I don't comprehend that mentality. Like, I could never understand that. And I really don't want to, because I think it's dumb as hell. Like, if you didn't do nothing wrong to me, I'm not going to hate you just because of how you look or whatever it is. And I don't give a shit. And I don't understand. That's why I don't understand humans. Because, like, humans will hate you for any fucking reason. I promise you. Like, even to everything. To the way you look, the way you do this, the way you do that, whatever the fuck. It's weird. Again, I don't get it. Also, when you're racially ambiguous, some people will hate that because it represents something that they feel like shouldn't exist. Because, again, that goes back to them having a hateful mindset, you know. And it sucks that in a place like the Divided States has a lot of, like, just a lot of racial and ethnic tension among people. And when they can't put you in a box, they look at you as somebody that is a traitor to everybody because you don't fit in. You're not white, you're not black, you're not whatever, you know. It's just, if you're a mixture of different ethnicities, you know, some people will hate you for that, even though you did not ask to come into this world. And to be honest with you, no one should have to feel like they should never be born, no matter what they are, because at the end of the day, you exist and your presence is valuable and it should be appreciated, especially if you're a good person. More than anything, I judge a person by their spirit, but unfortunately, people don't look at it like that. People don't actually, like, I'm not the type to just hate someone just because of whatever, especially not over a damn lie. I judge a person based on how they treat others, but I understand that as simple as that sounds like a very simple concept that's very reasonable, but for some reason in the Divided States, it's a complex thing. Like, people just want a reason to hate somebody no matter what. You know, this is the land where men hate women and women hate men, and it became popularized to do so. And that is no coincidence that, like, there's a low birth rate and just lots of broken homes. It's just so much damage is being done psychologically to where people are so easily brainwashed by anything they see. And that's the thing I don't like. The people say, oh, that's spiritual, you know, they got demons in them. Well, that's the thing. Most people are empty vessels. They're either empty vessels or they're weak vessels that can easily take in the influence of demonic spirits, which causes them to attack you just for the fuck of it. They're not even thinking about it. It's just, you ever thought, like, if you've encountered, all right, one form of gang stalking is like when you have a random person, some crazy nut just come up to you that you don't even know this person. This person doesn't know who the fuck you are, but they come to you, they start verbally harassing you, talking shit out of nowhere. Just literally like demonic activity, like the type of shit that you have to pretty much do an exorcism on this person. It intensifies, and that's usually what happens when it's crazy. Because you ever notice that when that happens, that's when your skin is glowing, your hair is looking good, you got long beautiful hair, or whatever. Even if it's short, it could still be beautiful, but it's like you're well put together on that day. And it just so happens that happens, it kind of incites the insecurities inside of a person to want to verbally attack you. Well, you'll probably see this more with women against women, because I don't know what it is, but women just hate each other. And it's so sad, because clearly this is an indication of a woman that has not healed, a woman that they feel like if they see a woman that's pretty, they want to attack her physically or even verbally, right? So that to me is crazy, because some of these women don't understand that we all have our own insecurities that we have to deal with. We all have our own things. Like, people have no idea. Like, I think it comes with people not having empathy, and because of a lack of empathy, you're not going to be able to understand that, hey, this woman might share the same pain as me, but you would never know that, because you're assuming that that woman is better than you, because you're already pedestalizing her, because you hate yourself. You have so much hatred for yourself that you just assume that every other woman is better than you, and therefore you're going to go attack them verbally or physically or whatever way, just because. And you don't even know this woman. This woman could actually be a best friend to you, but you would never know that, because you have too much hate inside of you. This woman could have had the same traumas as you. You guys could have been best friends. You guys could have hung out. She could have been somebody that you could talk to, somebody who has an empathetic ear that could really, really, be there for you. But no, people are so hateful that they are sabotaging sacred friendships, connections with people, especially between women, women to woman. Like, we are not helping each other out like we should. And it's so sad, it really is, and as a woman, I say that, like, I would like to see more women healing, but unfortunately, we don't really see that as much. All we see is just the constant deflecting, and then vice versa. I mean, there's men that also need a lot of healing, and they got their own issues going too, and some of them, they don't choose that route. So overall, it's just a sad situation to see, like, a lot of hatred that comes from being unhealed. And because a lot of people don't want to heal, they don't want to put in the work to really confront all of the stuff, all their darkness that is causing them to have this really toxic and very extremely negative view. Or it's so easy to manipulate the minds of the masses. I don't want to be around them, because whatever's being pushed, whatever agenda is being pushed, who are we going to hate for today? What's on the menu for hatred today? You're going to hate these people, you're going to hate that religion, the people of this, the people of that, and then you're seeing people getting harassed because of how they look, or because of what they believe in, or their faith, or whatever. You notice nobody goes against evil, right? You notice that nobody's really going against the system that's actually oppressing them in this modern day slavery that we're in right now, which is debt slavery, which is you're pretty much stuck here until, like, you're living in the divided states. It's designed to keep you in debt so that they can keep you under their corporate control. This is it's very troubling that humans can be so easily controlled to where they can hate a person or people that they don't even know. Think about how scary that is. Now, on a grander scheme of things, think about how that would create a lot of havoc when they start to bring martial law. Once they start bringing martial law, and you have a population of ignorant, uneducated people that don't know anything about different backgrounds and genetics, and the fact that it's so easy to get people to go against literally the wrong people. Like, they're making people fight the wrong people. They make the poor fight the poor. It's always been like that, and people don't fucking see that shit. And that's another reason why I don't want to be around people, because they're too stupid to see that. But sometimes you'll encounter throughout your life that people will hate you just because of how you look, or what cultural background or religious background that they assume that you have, because what's so funny, right? What's so funny is that all of a sudden I turn into a Muslim when I go to the airport. They always think I have a bomb for some reason. I kid you not. They always make it hard for me to get on a fucking plane, man. Quick story. One time I was about to get on the plane, and it was a holdup, because apparently every time when it comes to me, right, when I get to the end of that line, all of a sudden it's a random check. A random check of what? And I would always ask, so what are you checking for? And then they kind of put this stuff on your hands to check for bomb residue. And I'm like, Bob, what? And I didn't see you doing that to the other people that you clearly made it easy for them. Why me? And then they said, oh, it's just a random check, I'm like, oh, really? Oh, did you happen to find something questionable in my luggage? They said no. I'm like, so you basically scanned through my luggage and you didn't see anything, right? They said, no, we didn't find anything. Your luggage is good. Okay, so why are you checking my palms for bomb residue? Oh, it's just a random check. Oh, really? And it's interesting. I know they're full of shit. And again, I'm not surprised. When I tell you this story, it's just to share a little bit of my experience. I don't know if it's because of the Islamic thing, which I'm not a Muslim, but they view me as such. And I think sometimes it has a lot to do also with your walk with God being on point and really making sure that you're walking in the way that you need to. And some people take offense to that, which is crazy. I always ask God to lead me to the right people. I mean, if you want me to talk about something, that's why I have this channel for, right? And hopefully the message reaches the right people, which it will, and I'm very confident in it. So I always test the spirit. I always pray to God about it before. I always consult with God before anything, because you don't want to waste your time and energy with people that are just gonna fucking hate you and probably go against you. Because that's what I learned too in my journey, is that sometimes when you minister to people that they're full of darkness and they're soulless, that could put you in a dangerous situation. I'm gonna just put it like that, because it's like, again, everybody is not on the same wavelength and everybody's not trying to get there. And I don't know why people don't understand that, but that's just the way it is. It's not to say that, I don't care about them. No, it's just this person fucking hates me. How the hell do you expect me to help somebody that fucking hates me? Or whatever. So, and again, I'm not the type of person that thinks that I got all the answers. I don't know everything, but I know enough to help certain people with certain things, because I've had different experiences in my life that shaped me and my knowledge, and my insight that I have right now. So, and a lot of times too, it's not even about, having all this knowledge. Was just as important as knowledge is your empathy, and also experience, your testimony, your story, the stuff that you've been through and what you've healed from and where you're trying to go. That could be enough to actually help somebody. That's why I focus on that. So to me, I've reached a point where I really don't care about who likes me, who doesn't like me, or especially people that don't know me that hate me, people that just look at me and they just hate me because the media maybe told them to hate me, or maybe they told them to hate you, whatever you are. Sometimes people, like I said, people assume, right? Like I said, people always assume that I'm a Muslim, and I've had that for years. But you know what, though, in a way, they're not really wrong, because I align more with Islam than I do with Christianity. So you're not really wrong for thinking that. So this is what I don't understand about people, is that they will literally hate you for picking a different path than theirs, but they swear up and down that your path is lame because it comes with discipline and accountability. That's the sad part, and that's why I can't be around a lot of people. So it's not all people. I cannot be around a lot of people in the divided states, because I promise you, like I said, my household, we're thinking about leaving the country. because obviously, I mean, for many obvious reasons, besides the economy, is also the social life. The social life here is terrible, man. You know, if you're not a degenerate, you're not going to fit in, and that's just the way it is. I can't relate with that. I can't relate with, hating men or being degenerate or being, whatever. You know what I mean? And we know one thing I don't understand is how the hell can you hate men but you sleep with a bunch of men? Like, how does that work? How can you hate a lot of men but you move like a 3 or 4? I would have thought that if you didn't like them, you wouldn't be sleeping with them, right? So I don't get that. But then they hate on the women. They hate women that, practice abstinence. It's like all this shit doesn't make any sense. And because most people don't make sense, that is why I don't want to be around them. And at any moment, like I said, they can turn against you and become your worst enemy. Because why? Because the media told them to. The media told them that that people that look like you are terrible, and it could go. We can go with the genders too. That's another thing too. A lot of men hating women and women hating men because the media says that men are this and that. And then it doesn't help if they actually have traumatic experiences that do line up with that, because that's valid. I mean, if you've been abused by the opposite gender, then it makes sense to have a distrust for them. It does. And unfortunately, there's so much evil in this world that it's easy to convince people to be negative and just, extremely cynical to the point that you block your blessings. But what they don't tell you is that an unhealed mind fails to have discernment. An unhealed mind is going to forever self-sabotage throughout their life, because there are good people out here. It's just that it's hard to see them when you're in a low state of mind. You're not at your best. That's what happens when you're not healed. You're not really able to see clearly. All you see is the trauma, and all you see is whatever you want to see based on the trauma template that was given to you. It gets very tiring. Everybody talks about being exhausted. What I'm tired of is people not thinking for themselves. I'm tired of people hating somebody they don't fucking know just because the media says so. And honestly, there's a beautiful life out there. I mean, there's people that actually will see you as a human being. People that actually believe in family. That's a big thing too. Like, people that believe in building family, building legacies, actually having these things. Because you see, that's why I call it the divided states for a reason, because all you're going to see is nothing but division, whether it's between ethnicities, between genders, whatever the fuck. It's going to always be division, because that's what they thrive off of, unfortunately. But we have to be the powerful force that outgrows that, and we get out of that. We escape the matrix and build a better life. And with that being said, I thank you for listening. Take care and God bless.